there, I'm Rex King, and welcome back to my review channel, where today we'll be talking about Twisters. So Twisters was directed by Lee Isaac Chung and stars Daisy Edgar Jones as a woman who lost her three friends in a tornado after she was trying to prove that she could dispel a tornado. Years later, she is visited by another one of her friends, played by Anthony Ramos, who convinces her to go back to Oklahoma to help him map a tornado completely. Along the way, they end up meeting Glenn Powell's character, who's much more of a free-flowing guy. He's much more of an adrenaline junkie. He has a YouTube channel. He's not really a science-y type of guy on the outside, though he does have a degree in meteorology and does know a lot about tornadoes. Anyway, that's pretty much the general synopsis of Twisters. You really don't need to know a lot about the story to enjoy this film, as well it's a disaster film. And let's face it, we're here to watch the disasters unfold and hopefully get some good characters along the way. And this film does deliver half of that. The destruction and visuals in this film are absolutely spectacular, and if you are looking for some wonderful effect work, you're gonna get it here. I will say the first half of the movie is rather slow, but once we start getting tornadoes like rapid fire, the film starts to pick up and is really enjoyable and a really fun ride. That is also probably due to the performances specifically done by Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell, who have fantastic chemistry on screen and have a wonderful back and forth that really hook you into the film overall. However, the rest of this movie, when you start to look at it, has a lot of problems, especially the plot, as when you start to really think about it, doesn't really work and honestly is really crowded with a lot of information that is just unnecessary for a film like this. There's a lot of information about how tornadoes form and a lot of information of storm chaser culture, and some of that's cool. Like, I really like the storm chaser culture stuff. I don't really care to know how a tornado formed. I didn't think it was really necessary, but I get where they were going with it. Also, the additional plot of them trying to basically find a way to dispel tornadoes really feels lackluster and really feels convoluted. You really don't need something like that for a movie like this. You could have gone with a very simplified plot and a character study focusing on maybe the storm chaser culture stuff and the characters within that space. It could have worked quite well. Instead, we have a really convoluted, unnecessary plot with characters that, well, let's face it, are pretty one note. Even though the performances are really great, no one here was given anything really good to work with, as the characters are not written all that interestingly, and there is nothing interesting to note about them. They're pretty one note, and they're pretty forgettable. One last thing I want to talk about, the soundtrack is okay for me, but I like country music. It's a music I grew up with, and even though I get that it's not popular, I relatively find the music in this film perfectly suited for what they're going for. That being said, if you don't like country music, yeah, you're gonna be in hell when you watch this film, as there's a lot of it in this movie. But I don't think that completely destroys the film. Twisters is a relatively fun time overall. It's not particularly special, and the characters aren't anything to really talk about. But I still had a good time with the movie overall, so I'm going to give Twisters a 6 out of 10. I recommend this one to anyone who's into disaster movies, specifically the second half of the movie. Again, the first half of the movie is a little slow for my taste, but I think the second half of the movie really nails it down. So that's my opinions on Twisters. What did you think about it if you've seen it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.